All right, guys. Good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever you want to call it here. My name is Mike. I am the Mad Vapor coming at you. And this is a little bit just something that's been thing, and I really brought it up a whole lot. I try and stay to the whole quit smoking and try and help people, with that. But this is something that's just been bugging me real bad, and I'm finally making a video about it. So this is some stuff that vaping has been fighting with since, well, for quite some time, pretty much since the beginning. Actually, in the beginning we weren't fighting a whole lot of anything, but here lately it's been real tough, and it's all been since Juul came out, Nick salts and everything like that. And so this is a little bit about that and a few other things, flavors, Juuls, Nick salts, the high nicotine addiction, stuff like that. I have a few little key points here that I'd like to bring up. So, all right. So first off here, this is okay. This is what this little ad here is actually talking about is last month, or not last month, but when the Massachusetts banned the flavors and everything like that, apparently there's some companies were still selling to Massachusetts, and so now the attorney general there is trying to sue these companies for selling in that state while they had a ban in effect. Well, um, this little video is actually from July. It was pretty much the same thing. We're fighting all of this stuff still with the flavors, with the bans, with the nicotine, with everything like that. And so I wanted to bring it up here a little bit.
For the past 50 years in this country, we've worked hard to reduce smoking rates among young people and to stop young people from becoming addicted to nicotine.
Now, that's very true. We have tried to keep kids from becoming addicted to nicotine, okay? And I thought we were doing a pretty good job. I mean, we have shops that are 21 over, and we really tried to cut that down, but then convenience stores, online sales, and stuff like that kind of killed it for us. And this is in Massachusetts too. This is not in Oregon like I am, but still, this is just something that we've been battling forever, and it makes a lot of good points and a lot of interesting points here. So
we know that the major strategy of cigarette companies was to basically work to get young. And we worked really hard. A group of state AGs and others came together many years ago to end and curtail those practices. The practices then included the use of cartoon characters, cute mascots, and television advertisements.
And that's totally true. Years ago, the cigarette companies actually did. They used, Joe Camel and stuff like that. They had cartoons and stuff on TV. They had celebrities smoking, making it look cool. That was the thing. And we're told no more.
To get tens of millions of smokers addicted while they were young.
Because of that.
This was a smart and effective marketing strategy that led to untold death, disease, and a public health disaster. At a time when lung cancer rates are declining across the country and teen smoking of traditional cigarettes is at an all-time low.
All right, I love that she brought that up. Teen smoking of traditional all-time low. That's something a lot of people aren't telling you, okay? And this is one thing that has been going on forever now too, is as smoking of regular cigarettes has gone down, the vaping has gone up. It has kind of been a give and take both directions there. And a lot of people aren't saying that part. She just said that smoking is at an all-time low, which is fantastic. That's
many companies pick up the playbook of the tobacco companies and look to market to and get young people addicted. What I'm talking about today is something called vaping, sometimes known in places as juuling.
Now that I want to stop right there. That's a load. I hate that. Okay, vaping is not. They're not the same thing. Juuling is a form of vaping. Vaping, not all vaping is juuling. It's a totally different thing. A rectangle is not a square. A square is a rectangle. Rectangle is not a square. You understand that? It's the same concept there. Juuling is a form of vaping. Vaping is not juuling. Okay. You can't just lump it in there. Juuling is one small portion. It's a pod-based system with pre-filled pods with nicotine salts with high nicotine content. I vape a 3 milligram, not anything above 30. That's not. Yeah, I don't vape 35s and stuff. I vape on a 3. And so vaping and juuling are two totally different things. Another thing is my juice, I know what's in it. There's 4 ingredients in it. There's nicotine, propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and flavoring, which a lot of the flavoring is either vegetable or the VG or the PG based. So once again, I'm not adding any extra stuff in there. With the Juul, there's other stuff added. They have found other things in there, and it's made with benzoic acid. So that's an add-in right there.
And I'll tell you what we're talking about. All of this progress that I talked about over the last few decades is under threat because of the actions and activities of these companies. E-cigarettes and vape pens, many of which look like harmless, sleek USB flash drives like the one I'm holding.
I love this that she brings up how it's a sleek USB looking flash drive thing. That was adults like businessmen and people, and women and stuff like that. Yeah, they're the ones that wanted the sleek, slide it in your pocket, hidden, concealed object. That is not for kids. It wasn't made for kids. I hate that they say that. They're like, it's a USB, so it's made for kids. No, it was made for adults.
In my hand are out and in use in public. If you were to ask any number of, certainly if they're familiar with these devices, they would tell you they see them everywhere. I hear about it everywhere.
Okay, middle school students, high school students, they see them everywhere. Now, what about cigarettes? For the last how many years have middle school students and high school students seen cigarettes everywhere? And now the cigarettes are going down and vaping is going up. So, I mean, it's no different than the smoking. Okay, kids are curious. Kids are going to try new things. That's just the way kids are. If kids haven't done that, then if kids haven't been taught or they don't know any better, then they're going to try it just to see what it's like. A lot of kids are that curious and they're going to do that. I know I used to be one of those kids. I'm curious as all get out. So curiosity is going to do it more than this sleekness.
Over the last few months, I've been out visiting with a number to talk about health and wellness, substance use prevention, and our program out of this office in their communities. And along the way, I want you to know that I am taking this action because I have heard from so many school nurses, teachers, principals, coaches, and parents everywhere I go across the state about the pervasiveness of this problem. I remember being at one school where the high school nurse told me that 80% of the students in that school were where I.
So I want to know what school she was at that 80% of the students were vaping, because I know a few schools that aren't quite, those really rich schools where they're kind of, let me say this nice, they're a little ghetto, and 80% of them used to smoke, and now it'd be 80% of them vaping as opposed to smoking. I mean, so let's throw out numbers from both sides here. Let's see. On here, yeah, what they don't tell you is, let me see here really quick. So although current cigarette use decreased significantly significantly, I'm so sorry, my words are not coming out, from 28% in 1991 to 11% in 2015. Okay, this is off a different website here. This is from the CDC, is what I'm quoting right now. In 2015, new data from the 2015 survey found that 24% of high school students reported using e-cigarettes during the past 30 days. Okay, now the only problem with that is, if you think about it, 28% smoking down to 11%. Okay, that's quite a drop there. So we have 11% smoking in 2015, but 24% had reported using e-cigarettes during the past 30 days. They don't once, and that was it. But they're not going to say anything about that.
Heard that students as young as fourth grade were vaping. That's why this is such a problem. And
I started smoking at 10, fifth grade. So, you know,
that's why we need to act as a state. And that's why, frankly, I'm sounding the alarm.
I hate to say that, but
here's why it's a big
now here's one.
This is manufactured by Juul, a company in California, and I'll talk more about that. It's made to look like a sleek USB flash drive.
Once again,
and
not for
in
kids.
That goes e-juice or vaping liquid. I'll tell you, the contents of this one cartridge are the equivalent of one pack of cigarettes. Containing
one cartridge equals one pack of cigarettes. In those little pod systems, that is completely correct. If not more, it's ridiculous the amount of nicotine. We do not sell nicotine that high unless it's a nic salt, and we don't even carry nic salts most of the time here. We don't have a whole lot.
Nicotine is an entire pack of cigarettes. That's a big deal, not to mention the other chemical compounds, additives, and things we don't even know or understand.
See, that's part that worries me.
It's highly addictive and a dangerous combination.
Highly addictive. Okay, this part, the regular free-base nicotine that comes in our daily juices, you know, the free-base nicotine is no more addictive than caffeine. Okay, so it's no more addicting than giving them some sugar or giving them some soda or anything like that. That's not fully addicting. What the addicting part is the way they have altered nicotine to make it a lower pH balance and to get it into your bloodstream and everything. That's the part that makes it more addicting. Kind of like, it's an old cigarette trick. What they did back with cigarettes was they would add the chemicals like ammonia and stuff like that because they realized that it would get the nicotine in your bloodstream faster. And so while doing that, well, now we're vaping kind of took a play out of that book.
It shouldn't be anywhere near the brains or the lungs of a 10, 12, 14, or 16-year-old.
And I agree with that.
Many of the young people that I have spoken with and heard from directly say that they and their friends don't understand devices. They don't understand, and sometimes their parents don't understand that they're taking a health risk at all.
And that's something that parents and kids are both responsible for. They should become educated. Okay, that's been vaping since both of them have been alive, and they both know that vaping is not good for you. It's not a good thing to do. It does have hazards, but it is. Just know that mine doesn't have a lot of nicotine. Mine is not that strong or anything like that, and they know to stay away from it. That it's daddy's vaporizer. It's for daddy. It's only for adults. Okay, if you talk to your kids, you teach them, then they're not as curious about it. They may want to ask questions, and that's where you have to understand. You have to learn yourself. You have to educate yourself, so that way you can educate your kids. It's a smart idea. If your kids are educated, okay, they still have some curiosity, but at least then they have the information behind it, as opposed to just drugs are bad. Be like, well, these drugs will do this to you. Like, okay, certain drugs will rot your teeth. Certain drugs will will make you do some crazy things. Smoking is bad for your health. It's bad for everything. Your lungs. It's bad for your heart. It's bad to breathe. You can't breathe. You can't go do sports. I mean, it's so tough to do sports and stuff when you're smoking. So if you know what it is that's going on in there, they have less chance to go out and do it.
The manufacturers of these products often claim that their goal is to provide an alternative for adult cigarette smokers.
Yes.
That's an important goal, but that's not why we're here, because that is not what is happening.
This part pisses me off.
What we're seeing on these boards, and I want you to focus on what is here.
This part here, I'm not sure exactly what she is showing, but it says down here that she's showing like comedy memes from Instagram and claiming that they're actual marketing. Okay, and I know there's a lot of memes out there that people think are actual advertisements, and it's ridiculous. That's just like all the nude pictures of celebrities when you know that that's not true. A lot of weird stuff going on out there.
This represents the links to which companies are willing to go to market.
Really fighting.
Selling nicotine cartridges in candy flavors that smell and taste like Sour Patch Kids, bubblegum, whipped cream, blue raspberry, cotton candy, and more. We know
because absolutely zero of those have been sold in any kind of alcohol that kids shouldn't have, right? No alcohol has ever had any kind of flavoring whatsoever. This is bullshit. Okay, the flavors are not the problem. That is only one issue that we are having with it. Okay, the flavors are not that big of an issue. Everybody thinks it's the flavors that are hooking them. It's the flavors that are hooking them. It's the high nicotine that is hooking them. It's just them wondering. Then it's their curiosity that's hooking them. That's what hooks them. They get curious. They hit those things, whether it's flavored or not. It has such high nicotine, and it's been altered to get that, give you that buzz of the nicotine instant. It's almost worse than smoking. The only thing that makes the smoking worse is there's so many more chemicals. But for a kid, I believe in this. They should not be in possession of vape supplies at all. Okay, I think that's so messed up.
Who that is marketed and directed to. They also work
because adults hate flavors, right?
You see some represented here that you can put on your skin, a case similar to what you put on your phone.
And they're talking about skins for mods and stuff, showing Avengers and Spider-Man and stuff like that. Because I mean, right? I'm 34 years old. I didn't grow up with Spider-Man. I didn't know Superman or anybody like that. I would hate to have a superhero on my mod. I grew up with them, and I've had them longer than the kids nowadays have. So, I mean, it's a nostalgic thing. It's not that they're targeting kids with that in a very long time. Those are our things, not theirs. So they're just trying to take that away from us and take away our free choice. It's not fun.
My patients report using Juul devices in the classroom.
All right.
Janet and Dan Less for putting in the time to understand
There's one here.
The complexities of this public health epidemic. Every day in my practice at Mass General Hospital for Children, I talk with adolescents, products themselves, or have friends using the devices. My patients report using Juul devices in the classroom, while walking in the hallways, because they need a hit to get through the day.
That's the sad part. They need a hit to get through the day. Now, the thing is sad part is it's not any different than it used to be years ago, except for the fact that now the kids aren't skipping school to go a block, it somewhere a little bit closer, and they're probably staying in school a little bit more. I don't know about that part. Don't judge me on that one. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I remember going off campus a long way to go smoke a cigarette for the same reason.
This same pattern is being seen by pediatricians across Massachusetts, across the suburbs and cities, and throughout all socioeconomic classes. According to the latest data from the Center for Disease Control's
Here you go.
Behavior, 10% of Massachusetts high school students currently use an electronic vape product. But by senior year, 25% of Massachusetts seniors are active users.
What do they classify as an active user? That's one thing, is they don't say in here what an active user is. That could be somebody that picked it up one time and tried it. That could be somebody that vapes it all day, every day. I don't know. Their idea of an active user, that's kind of like, if you, that's one time. One time you're sexually active. That's the way it is now. So, I mean, where did they draw the line on where you're active in vaping? That's one that I kind of wonder about there. It catches me.
Tobacco companies know that if adolescents begin using, the younger a teen starts smoking or vaping, the harder it will be to quit. Nicotine exposure during adolescence causes long-term structural and functional the brain's reward centers to crave nicotine and other illicit drugs.
That is such a load. Other illicit drugs. No, it's not. It's not a gateway drug. The only thing that makes it that way is that they made it such a potent product now that it gives you a buzz just like anything out there would. So it's kind of tough for us to fight that one. I don't like Nick Salts for that. Like that, there should be absolute zero way for teenagers to be able to get something that has that high of a concentration in nicotine. Okay, they shouldn't be getting any of it at all. But for them to have access to something that high is just ridiculous. Even adults should kind of cut down off of 50 milligrams. The whole point of vaping is to cut off of nicotine, not to get yourself way more than you're supposed to.
Teens are being seduced by Juul's fruity flavors. The device's chemical aerosol. According to a survey done by Tobacco Free Kids, over 60% of adolescents didn't even know that all Juul flavors contain nicotine.
Which is kind of messed up that, okay, so that's like saying, oh, I bought a pack of cigarettes and I thought it didn't contain anything. Well, that's kind of retarded, okay? Nobody says that vaping is harmless. Okay, we say that is thrown out the window. There are hazards to vaping, just like there are anything else. There's a hazard of waking up every morning, going out your door, and getting hit in the rock. I mean, there's a hazard of that, but you face it every day. I mean, you have to. Well, this is an option. I mean, if you go out there and you're playing a game of football and you get hurt, are you gonna blame the game of football? No, because you're the one that went out and decided to do it and got hurt. Your own life at risk here. It's your own thing. We're not saying that it's harmless. It's 95% safer because there aren't thousands of chemicals in vaping as opposed to a cigarette. Kind of like the whole popcorn lung thing that went around with the diacetyl, and they changed out. You have going to demand your money back. No, I don't have Walmart internet, but I kind of wish. Might be a little bit better. All right.
Juul has a new way to introduce ultrafine nicotine particles and other chemicals into a young person's lung, where it
See, they say they came up with a new way. That's where the Nick Salts came
into
in.
the bloodstream and almost instantly crosses the blood-brain barrier directly into the pleasure centers of the brain.
Which gives you that
Juul
buzz.
pods house a mixture of concentrated acid and nicotine, thereby lowering its pH. Deep relations. This is just.
See, so in other words, it has a lower pH, less of a throat hit, so you don't realize that you're getting as much as you are. And so you hit it more often with a higher nicotine content while it's getting into your bloodstream faster. So that's a real bad scenario all the way around, especially for kids. That's why I don't like it.
Just a Juul pod, so you can see how small this is. These products are higher than cigarettes. According to studies on tobacco.
And that's another thing, is like I was saying about the diacetyl, the popcorn lung. They tried scaring us with that. There are no vaping cases of popcorn lung. The diacetyl that is in any vape juice, okay, there is a cigarette contains 750 times more diacetyl than any vape juice on the market. Any vape juice on the market. 750 times, but that's something that they don't tell you with the whole popcorn.
Nicotine contained in just half a pod. In addition to causing asthma and eosinophilic pneumonitis, Juul and other electronic vape products contain group 1 carcinogens such as N-nitrosonornicotine that have been proven to cause cancer.
See, and they say that they've tested this and they found stuff that's proven to cause cancer. Well, they said that with regular vapes and everything too. And then we found out that it was because they were burning it at such that everything was just burning off. It's like, no kidding, you're going to get something carcinogenic when you decide to catch it on fire and inhale it. It's not good. You're not supposed to smoke anything combustible.
Other studies have shown that teens who vape are at least 4 times more likely to begin using traditional tobacco products in our communities.
Okay, now this part here, this is some recommendations, and these recommendations are fantastic, and I think everybody should follow them because it make it a lot easier.
6 recommendations to help protect our kids. Number 1, make sure the Board of Health in your town or city strictly enforces the new Tobacco 21 law, checking compliance at least 4 times per year per retailer. A single retail store can supply an entire high school with product, potentially addicting hundreds of kids. It's never okay to put it. Report any store that sells tobacco products to teens under the age of 21 to the Attorney General's office. Number 3, encourage your Board of Health to increase fines for selling to those under 21 to $1,000 for the first offense.
See, so what he's talking about is he's talking about cutting it out of the convenience stores, out of little thrift markets and stuff like that, making it to where it's kind of like a liquor store. You have to have like a dispensary here in Oregon. You got to be 21 or over, show your ID, and only places that are designated for that and ID everybody can sell vape products. I kind of agree with that.
License to
It
sell
would be great.
tobacco products for second and additional offenses. The Massachusetts driver's license orientation changes at age 21 from horizontal to vertical the customer's age.
That's pretty cool about them.
To join with 120 Massachusetts cities and towns who have already made flavored tobacco products only legal in tobacco stores where only those 21 and over can enter.
See?
That single regulation is saving hundreds of kids from tobacco addiction in those towns.
And we agree with it.
Board of Health and urge them to move flavors to smoke shops only.
Yes.
Number 5, parents, please discuss. Let them know that you do not approve of use or experimentation with Juul or any vape product. And finally, for parents whose children who already vape and may be addicted to an electronic or other tobacco product, call your pediatrician. We can provide resources and specific strategies to help break your teen's nicotine addiction. Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll start educating. And now Shariel Joseph from Watertown High School.
This girl right here.
If you were to close your eyes and picture strawberry, watermelon, mint, vanilla, or shortcake, you wouldn't picture a vape or a Juul. You picture actual sweets or actual desserts and fruits something you crave when you're having a bad day, or something you always have space for after a big dinner. When you think of those sweet, delicious flavors, you generally think of lollipops or sweets, and mine.
So because happen because we're adults. What's with that? It's not that we're targeting kids, it's that we enjoy flavors. Why is there a problem with enjoying flavors? I don't understand that. All right. So a few other things that just really bug me is they're talking about Congress will pass a tobacco 21 law. Okay, that makes it to where you have to be 21 or older to buy cigarettes or to buy vaping products. One thing that really gets me about it, this is great. Okay, so on here, proponents of Tobacco 21 say that high school students will have less access to adult products if their peers are unable to buy them. Many high school seniors are 18, but few high school students have friends as old as 21. That's a lie. I had friends that were 21. Friends and relatives are the most common source of vaping products. Relatives are buying them for them. What are we supposed to do? Okay, a vape shop doesn't tell a 40-year-old person that they can't get vape juice because they're 40. Okay, it's not the way that works. It's really awkward there. Okay, if the relatives are buying the stuff, then how can you blame a vape shop for giving it to them when the parents or relatives of some kind are buying it? And if it's an older sibling, but still, I've seen parents and stuff like that buy it because it is a safer alternative to cigarettes. And myself, I would rather my children vape as opposed to smoke any day, because smoking is just bad. It smells. It's not good for you in any way. Okay, but here, look. To me, the most serious threat involves the use of vaping devices for teens under 18 years old. Okay, far too often, 18-year-olds are still in high school and can legally buy vaping devices or sharing them with. What you're telling me is that 18 years old, you can go overseas, you can die for our country, you can do all that, but you can't even gamble, you can't smoke, you can't drink, you can't do anything, but you can die for this country, so we'll send you overseas to die before you even get a chance to do any of that. That's kind of unfair. I think that's messed up. I understand where they're coming from, being 21 and everything like that, but at the same time, I think it's getting a little bit crazy there, because if you think about it, some 21-year-old could eat school. I don't want to give ideas. Never mind. I'm not even going to say that. That would probably be a bad thing. All right. But there are like a few other things here. I mean, this one, where's it? This one. I love this one right here. Flavors are not the main reason kids vape. All right. This is one thing that I've been saying to people for a very, very long time now. It's not the flavors. Okay. Back when cigarettes, tobacco flavor with extra tobacco flavor, guess what flavor kids got? It was tobacco flavor. It didn't matter. Okay. One thing that people have been saying is that it was flavors that got kids hooked. And as soon as the flavors were gone, guess what? Now it was menthol. What happens? The menthol goes and then it's tobacco flavors. Well, no, because it is what it is. Okay. It's stupid. It's just a big roundabout way of them trying to get it out of the way. And it's really dumb. So how many times have you heard that vaping is mainly because of the flavors? Okay. Look at this. A new analysis from 2019. Okay, so this is new, which I love it. And this is from the CDC and the FDA. Shows that flavors are definitely not the main reason kids vape. This is from the CDC and the FDA, the people that have reamed us, and now they're coming back saying, hey, this isn't the case. That's kind of nice right there. It shows here among the teens who were surveyed, 56.1% listed curiosity as a reason. Curiosity. Why? Because nobody told them anything about it. They didn't say, hey, this is hazardous because of this. They're just saying, this is bad for you. This is bad for you. That's it. Well, why is it bad for you? You have an answer? Because if you can't have an answer to a why question, they're not going to believe you. So look, if you want your kids not to vape, do some research, sit them down, talk with them a little bit, discuss it more than one time, not just once and expect them to understand everything. Okay. They are going to have questions. If they don't have questions, keep talking to them. Just keep talking to them. Okay. My kids asked me a lot of questions about it, and I told them everything truthfully. So, and now they don't touch it. The only reason they touch my vaporizer at all is to hand it back to me because I said it on the. They're adorable. I love them for that. All right. So that was the more than double the next most popular reason. So that was the number one most popular reason, was just curiosity. I'm one of those people. I'm curious as all hell. And then the next one here is because a friend or family member used them. Just like if your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, your mom, your dad, your older brother or sister or whatever, cousin, any. If you don't know anything about it, you don't know any of the side effects, you don't even know what it is, what's your first thought? What's that? Exactly. Curiosity. Kids are great at that. Right? They are available in flavors such as mint candy, fruit, or chocolate. Came in third. Okay. Third. Only 22% of kids tried it because of flavors. Yeah. All right. So it's obvious almost everyone except the people lobbying for flavor bans that teenagers trying a vape on a lark or for a nicotine buzz are the vapors least concerned with what it tastes like. Exactly. They're not going to care what it tastes like. I guarantee you, if you made one that was 75 milligrams nicotine salt and it tasted like dog poopy, okay, a big old steaming pile of dog turd, they are just the way it's going to go. I can promise you that. And it sucks, but it is so very, very true. All right. So, guys, I'm going to take off for the night. That was just a little bit there. Talk to your kids, okay? Talk to the kids, educate them. Go to some sites. If you want some news, go to vaping360.com. There's some great news articles there and everything. It works fantastically. If you want material about and the safeties, the hazards, and everything like that, go to I would go to vapeworld.com, VAEP, not VAPE, okay, VAEP world.com. I'll try and put I'll post a comment of it right here. So if you want some vaping information, go to that website there. And if you want other information, like all the news of vaping and whatnot, go to that one there. So vapeworld.com, this is actually run by nurses, and they put together an entire society of nurses, pretty much. They got together a huge group site, and they all are specialized in like smoking related illnesses and vaping and stuff like that. So they know what they're talking about. They have many, many years of experience in it. And then the other one here, if you want to see some news, this is where I get a lot of the news articles and stuff that I look up, is Vaping 360. They stay up pretty on top of stuff. And so I go there quite often. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to sign out. It's getting late. Go home and eat some food. So, and I don't get to vape while I'm in here because, Oregon Indoor Clean Air Act. It sucks, but that's the way it is. All right, guys. Coming at you next time. Vape on, vape safe, and don't have too much fun. All right. Cloud it up.